Okay, so UFC Fight Night Houston is in the books, as they say. We're going to go through the results and also we'll compare the results to my predictions. So we're going to go main event down through the card. Main event, I think, was a little bit of a surprise for me. I thought Bermudez would go out there, move a lot, especially in the first couple of rounds. Korean Zombies had a long layoff. And, it would be difficult to knock Korean Zombie out even after a long layoff. But, they kind of got into a little bit of a war, each rocking each other. And then perfect uppercut from Zombie as Bermudez was dipping his head and he got the KO victory. So I predicted Dennis Menace by decision. I couldn't have been more wrong. If we go back to the co-main event, I actually said that this was going to be a showcase for Alexa Grasso. I still feel it could have been, but that's not how it worked out. It was a tight first round, and I give it to Herrig for a little bit more work, I think. In the second round, I felt the same, that there was nothing major between either of them. Maybe Herrig looked like she wanted it more, and Grasso seemed to be like she was in sparring mode. That continued in the third until the last few seconds of the round when they started to throw down a little bit. The judges gave it to Herrig, but I think when Alexa Grasso looks back on that, she'll be disappointed that she didn't put her foot on the gas a little bit more. For Herrig, it was a great performance. She looked a lot better on the feet tonight than she has done previously. But I think this was more a case of Alexa Grasso losing it than Herrig winning. Okay, if we go down the card again. Vick versus Trujillo. I actually picked this one for Trujillo. I thought Trujillo would get the KO by closing the distance. And what actually happened was James Vick used his size and reach for the first time in his UFC career really well. First round, Vick was fighting long, and then Abel Trujillo got him against the fence for a bit of control. I would have said that if it was going to the scorecards, I would have given that to Vick. Second round, I give to Vick as well. He had Trujillo in a dart for a long time. It wasn't really that close. It was more he was holding him in position than anything. But it was a good early knee a flying knee in the third round. Then back to the darts and Trujillo tapped. I think James Vick looked very, very good there. If he's able to control the distance like he did today and use the reach, then James Vick has just gone from being a fighter to a contender. So the Vulcan Ozdemir OSP fight. This was a really aggressive first round, very back and forth. I give it slightly to Ozdemir. The second round, incredibly slow. Again, it was a lot of exchanges there, and I think for me, I would have given that one to OSP. And even at the third round, it got even slower. I felt OSP had a strong finish and probably snatched the victory. However, the judges disagreed and gave that to Vulcan by split decision. I think Vulcan Ozdemir will look a lot better after a few fights in the UFC. He showed today that he's not only got good striking, but good wrestling defense. We didn't really see much wrestling offense from him. OSP, I don't know where he goes from here. He's a very, very solid light heavyweight. He's just not a top contender. Anthony Hamilton versus Marcel Fortuna. I said that Hamilton was a big, big heavyweight, and the difference on the night was Fortuna weighed in at 210.5 pounds. Hamilton weighed in 258.5 pounds. I thought that this was going to be the big man Hamilton just destroying Fortuna. However, Fortuna KO'd him with a beautiful right hand straight to the temple. There'd been an early clash of heads as well, A nasty cut opened up above Fortuna's right eye. Herb Dean even called the referee, or the doctor in rather, but the fight continued. You know, I got it wrong, but I couldn't be happier about getting that wrong. And Fortuna's going to go down to 205, you know, and I think that he's a force to be reckoned with at 205. You know, worse things could happen than making the Ozdemir Fortuna fight. Or even, you know, Fortuna could go in there against OSP. I don't think it'll happen, but we'll see. Jessica Andrade versus Angela Hill. You know, I said that this one felt like they were feeding Hill to Andrade, and that turned out to be a little bit of the case. I think Hill put up a better fight than most people expected. In the first round, you know, Andrade backed her up on the fence and unloaded numerous times. The second round, Hill put on a better show, but Andrade managed to take her down at the end to ensure that she won the second round as well. Hill did open up a cut on her cheek in the second round, so it gave her a bit of a boost, I guess. And the third round's a little bit the same, except, you know, we could classify this as rock'em sock'em robots. But I think Andrade was always in control of that fight. You know, I think Hill has potential in that division. But I mean, facing her up against Andrade just seemed uncalled for. Milstead against Curtis Razorblades opened up was the last fight on the prelims, and I said that this was going to be a first round TKO. What happened was Blades took him down, I think 6 or 7 times, which may be a record for one round. I certainly think it is at the heavyweights. You know, and it looked like Milstead had injured his knee in the first round. This was something that Stan had mentioned on commentary. And in the second round, when Blades went to take him down, there was a sickening injury. You could see like his knee buckle or the patella possibly pop out. I think Milstead's going to be away for quite a while. It wasn't the TKO that I thought it would be, but I guess, you know, it'll go down as a TKO. The good news for Milstead is that the UFC just finished their rehabbing center, so he should be able to rehab there, and they should take care of him. Let's hope the UFC do the right thing and step up and take care of him. Chad Skelly versus Chris G. I said that this could be one on the feet by either guys. You know, but I was picking Chaz Skelly by submission. You know, in the first round it was quite even on the feet until Skelly took it to the ground, where he controlled the fight without threatening really to submit anybody. The second round, Chaz Skelly did win by submission, so that was a good pick by me. Next up, Ricardo Ramos against Tanaka. And I said that Ramos was going to win this by submission in the second round. I think that Ramos eked each round, dropping Tanaka in the first, more control in the second, and the third was quite tired, but he had a good choke in. I think that Ramos is the best guy to come off looking for a fight, and I think going forward he'll do even better. So the fight before that I said was going to be a snooze fest: Tisha Torres versus Beck Rawlings. Beck actually missed weight this week, and she had to forfeit 20% of her purse. You know, I do understand that fighters have a contract and they're obliged to come in on weight, but missing weight by a couple of pounds, you know, and then losing a large chunk of your money, it's tough. So I really can't wait for the UFC to add the 125-pound division. I mean, it's so stupid to have a 145-pound title and no 125-pound division when there's so many good fighters who could go into that division. I'd love to see a few more weight classes for the men as well, middleweight up to heavyweight. They could do with another 2 divisions adding in there, but I don't think that's going to happen either. This was a great first round for the shorter Torres, who was able to use her speed to close the distance and land in flurries. She also consistently landed low leg kicks that was keeping Rawlings off balance. Rawlings took Torres down but was unable to hold her there, and after a clinch on the fence, Torres ended up taking Rawlings back and finishing the round trying for an armbar. You know, going in the third, Rawlings really needed to have some urgency that she didn't show. She flipped off the crowd. I don't know why she did that. But, you know, I think Torres won all 3 rounds quite comfortably. You know, and it was a great show from Torres. I won't say that Beck Rawlings necessarily made this a great fight, but I think Torres did. So it wasn't as bad as I predicted, but, you know, it was a very comfortable win. So in the 2 early prelims, let's call them, I was very excited to see Nico Price versus Alex Moreno. I picked Nico Price by decision. In round 1, this was exclusively standing affair with Moreno getting dropped by Price a couple of times, I think. Oh no, Moreno dropped Price a couple of times rather, sorry. So I gave round 1 to Moreno. After a back and forth standing battle, the round 2 ends with both guys trading right at the buzzer, and Nico Price crumples Moreno. I wasn't sure whether this was going to be one of those where it's at the buzzer, so they try and put him on his stool and let him get back into it. But, you know, they didn't. Moreno was done. Both guys put on a good performance and they showed a willingness to trade, but also I think they showed a lot of holes in their game. I hope the UFC moves them quite slowly to let them continue to improve. You know, I still think that there's big potential for Moreno. I think Nico Price could be a title contender in the next 4 years or so, 3 or 4 years. But yeah, I think both guys have a long future in the company. Okay, first fight of the night, Roundtree versus Daniel Jolly. You know, Daniel Jolly was fighting in front of his home state fans, and I wasn't high on this. I didn't think either of these guys show enough really to be considered UFC fighters, and really a quick first round KO from a failed takedown from Jolly. You know, and Roundtree scored a couple of knees, one to the head, one to the chest, I think. It didn't fill me with confidence that he's good enough. You know, he got a win tonight, but I didn't see enough from there to tell me that Roundtree's a UFC fighter. So altogether, I predicted 5 TKOs, 2 subs, and 5 decisions. That's what we ended up with. It was a pretty good card. Some surprising results for me, but the big takeaway from that, I think, is the Tisha Torres looked very good. Andrade looked very good. Blades got a nice win to keep him, you know, cooking in the heavyweight division. Nico Price moved forwards. You know, Korean Zombie's back. But all in all, I think the card was designed to build Alexa Grasso and it failed. So we'll see you for 208.